Hey, good morning, it's boats. So this is going to be my third video on basic nomenclature of a vessel. So understand that if it doesn't translate for you, that the image is reversed. So I just want you to remember that before you send me comments. I am quite well aware of which parts of the boat are which. So if you are like, I don't understand, I want you to know that the camera is reversed for you, or you're looking directly at it. So we're going to talk about the basic nomenclature of a vessel today, and I want to start off talking about the port and starboard side, right? So on the left-hand side of your vessel, right, this would be your port side. This is the port side of this vessel. In the old days, that was referred to as larboard, okay? And it's marked with a red light. This side of the vessel, on this vessel, is the starboard side, okay? Used to be referred to as the steerboard side, or the steering board side, and it is marked with a green light. So we're talking about port and starboard. Port, starboard, left. You can remember it this way. Port has 4 letters in it. Left has 4 letters in it. So there's a good way if you want to remember for that. Just remember port, 4, left, 4. Okay? Something to mention when we talk about this. No matter which direction we're pointed on this vessel, if we're on a stern watch, if we are looking aft and we're reporting somebody that's coming up, this is still going to be the port side of the vessel. Okay? This is still going to be, even if I'm facing aft, this is still going to be my port side. This is still going to be my starboard side, right? So that's how that works. You want to remember that no matter which direction, that the port always remains on the left side of the vessel, okay? In relation to the bow. We could talk about here since we're already here, we could talk about the stern of the vessel, okay? Or the after part of the vessel. Sometimes you'll heard it referred to as the fantail, and that's because it fans out over your rudder and your props or your port nozzles or the new dynamic positioning systems you got. Sometimes it would be referred to as the fantail or the after part of the vessel. It's also, on some vessels, ships that have concave to them, it's where the port and the starboard meet, okay? But for sure, we'll talk about the bow, okay? This is the bow of the vessel, forward. And this sometimes is referred to as the stem of the vessel. And it is where the port and the starboard part of the vessel meet. So that's bow, stern, port, starboard, okay? We talk about the keel, okay? The keel is traditionally in the old days when ships weren't built in a modular fashion like they're starting to build now, they don't lay a keel anymore per se, they lay sections of the ship. But in the old days when they would just lay this long beam, this down the center of the vessel, right? That would be the first thing that was laid. The keel would be the first thing that was laid, right? And the keel is like your backbone, right? And out from that they would build ribs, which we refer to as frames, okay? So you would have the ribs that would go down, or frames that come out from that, and then they would have the hull plating, and that would be like your skin surrounding your rib cage and your back. So in the old days, they would lay the keel first. It would be the first thing that they did, and then they would build up from there. Ships now are kind of built in a lot of them are built in modular pieces, and they kind of put them together like Legos. So, anyways, so we're talking about that. And since we're already up here, actually, yes, let's talk about the beam of the vessel, or the molded beam of the vessel, right? And that's how wide your vessel is, right? Some flare out, some kind of go shaped like a football, like the ironwood, but that's the molded beam of your vessel, okay? So your ship might be 24 feet across. It might be 36, 100 feet across. Some of those big super tankers and aircraft carrier are 100 or more feet across. So the beam of your vessel. Something to note too is the greatest breadth. So the greatest breadth is different from your molded beam. Okay, your greatest breadth would be like this rub rail that sticks out. The greatest breadth would be this rub rail that sticks out farther than your molded beam. Cruise ships, deep drafts. Sometimes they have bridge wings that extend out farther or over the water, right? And that would refer to as your greatest breadth, the farthest apart. That could matter if you're going in a lock somewhere. It could matter in passing, but they want to know, or for docking, they want to know what your beam of your vessel is. Okay. This vessel doesn't have a waterline per se. I guess they could refer to this, although that would be a pretty close waterline. So it's kind of hard to say on this. You know, I'm going to assume that this is the waterline somewhere right in here. Okay. But your draft readings you would have draft marks on your bow and your stern to let you know what the depth of, or how much you were drawing, how much your draft was. And we can talk about how to read draft marks later. There is a very specific way to do it. But let's say that our water line is right about here, and right here, right, and this area somewhere right in here is going to be our freeboard, okay? And that's going to change on this vessel to up here to here. Different freeboard, it gets, it's lower here than it is up here, okay? So this would be the lowest part back here. And we're not including the gunnels in that. And if you see that in your test, by the way, gunnels, that would be, looks like it's spelled gun whale, but it's gunnel, okay? It's kind of like a fence around here. So we talk about that. So if we shift back up here, let's talk about the forecastle, or the forecastle head. Sometimes you have enclosed forecastles, sometimes you have open forecastles, and usually the forecastle is going to have your anchoring equipment, your hawse pipe, your bits and your cleats, all the things that you need for anchoring, or working, in this instance, like a tugboat up on the forecastle. So that's going to be the forward part of the vessel. Okay. One thing I'd like to talk about is decks. Okay, let's talk about decks. So this right here, this aft deck would be, sorry guys, this aft deck would be the main deck, or the one deck. And that's going to go all the way up until there's like a hold or something like that, but continue all the way forward. When you are talking about ships and their decks, you have the main deck or the one deck, the two deck, the three deck, the four deck, the five deck, and so on and so forth. And then when you come up from that, right, when you get off that main deck, this might be your O1 deck. This could be your O2 deck, your O3 deck, and building up, like on an aircraft carrier. Got so many decks above, so many decks below the main deck. So that's something that's important to know about the decks of a vessel. Let's see here. Talked about freeboard and gunnels, the forecastle. We call this the bridge, or I'm sorry, this is the bridge. You might have a superstructure, an accommodation, a bridge, a pilot house, a wheelhouse. That would be this right here. Just some basic, and it's different from vessel to vessel what you have here. Ladders. Ladders. Again, I'll say this again, and I'll say it 100 times. Most vessels don't have ladders, or I'm sorry, don't have stairs, they have ladders. You have stairs, you know, Jack at the top, Rose at the bottom, you know, the end of the movie roll credits. Cruise ships have stairs and staircases. We have ladders, right? So you may think of that as stairs, but we call them ladders on vessels. We have various things on here. We have some chocks. Chocks are used for directionally for running line through, mooring lines, tow lines, side lines, those kind of things. We have freeing ports, or which are bigger than scuppers. right? Scuppers are usually a deck drain that go down, whereas freeing ports are large openings to allow water that ships onto the boat to go back over the side, to free it over the side. So you've got some freeing ports here, right? Sorry, there's a chalk. So that's another thing that would be great to do. And then the vessel has some portholes or port lights, right? There's porthole. I believe there's like some, I believe these are going to be portholes on here. So those are some of the other things that we have on this vessel that we wanted to talk about. The rest of the deck equipment, the lights, the mast, we could talk about that in a more in-depth nomenclature class. We'll talk about real quick about stacks or funnels. Sometimes they're called funnels, or this part is the funnel, this part is the stack, but they can be interchangeable. So on the Ironwood we just have one. Some vessels have two, it just depends on the vessel that you're at. As far as deck equipment, Norman pins, towing winches, that kind of stuff, that's something else we'll cover. Some vessels have a boom system or a knuckle crane, but they call it a boom on a lot of vessels, and it differs very much from the old yard and stay rigs. All right, guys, so like I said earlier in the thing, I hope you understand that this is flipped backwards, so if you're looking at it, scratching your head going, what's he talking about? For this vessel, this is the left side or the port side, and this is the starboard side, the bow and the stern. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Again, leave me any comments. Shout out to Katie for making me look at these videos again and make sure I got them right so that I'm teaching you guys right. And have a good day.